Welcome back to Battleship Systems. Today we're in for secondary plot on the battleship New Jersey to talk about the system that would use to let people in the 5-inch guns know when it's ready to shoot. So these are the stable elements for the secondary battery fire control system. And just like the main one, we have salvo signals and firing keys. So know that the salvo signal sounds a horn in the 16-inch guns. So what actually lets the gun crews in the 5-inch guns know that it's time to fire? That is what this device over here is for. And oh, how lucky we are to be on a ship that maintains its original MCA amplifier system. All the other ships, this panel was replaced with a little box like this. But what it does is, the MCA is the mount announcing system. It runs circuit 17MC.
MCA was part of that battle announcing system package that every battleship got. If you remember back to the episode we did on the 1MC, 2MC, and damage control circuits, that was part of the type MCG battle announcing system. 17MC is used specifically for the battleship's secondary battery, the 10 5-inch dual-purpose mounts. We really haven't talked much about the 5-inch guns yet, but compared to the 16-inchers, they have a faster firing cycle, could train and elevate faster, and they could support barrage firing. Gunnery officers could command all the 5-inch mounts from inside one of the 4 secondary battery directors. But how does someone way up there tell all the mounts what to do? They could use sound-powered headsets, but that would require all the talkers and all the 10 mounts to be on the same circuit as the director. That would be a heavily loaded circuit, and you'd barely be able to hear anyone on it. Combine that with the amount of noise the 5-inch guns makes, would make sound-powered communication unfeasible. That's why you need an amplified communication system. Every director has a control box specifically for the 17MC. It connects to a portable microphone that allows one-way communication with the mounts. Like all the battle announcing on the Iowas, it was made by Western Electric. There were 2 on each ship since there are 2 secondary plotting rooms. On the top are the meters and test switches. Behind that are the oscillators, or what Western Electric calls signal generators. We'll get to that a bit later. On the bottom are the actual amplifiers called preliminary amplifiers. Each contain an audio compressor and limiter. There's 2 of them in the rack, making this a 2-channel amplifier. The whole enclosure is a little over a foot deep, which is pretty impressive for 1940s technology. Battleships use directors to track a single target. Then the Mark 1A computers and plot use the director's positions to compute and send the gun orders. But to the people in the director, it seems like you're in direct control of the guns. It's really the cooperation of the director personnel and the computer operators that make everything happen. That's why every amplifier channel is assigned to a computer, which is in turn assigned to a director. Selectors on the secondary battery switchboards allow you to connect any director to any one of your amplifier channels. There are also snap switches so you can direct the sound from either amplifier to any mount. Since there are no 17MC reproducers in plot, each computer station has computer jack boxes that tie into their corresponding amplifier. Operators plug their headsets into this jack to hear the same orders the mounts hear. The 5-inch 38 mounts didn't initially have any 1MC speakers, making it impossible to hear ship-wide announcements. However, when the general alarm or chemical alarm is sounded on the 1MC, the control wire energizes relays in the rack that take priority over the 17MC, so those alarms can be heard in the mounts. When 5-inch guns are shooting at surface targets, it makes sense to trigger the salvo and cease firing alarms from the plotting room. But that switch that connects the directors to the amplifiers also connects the alarm triggers to the respective director. But how are these alarm signals sent over speakers?
So this MCA amplifier has a signal generator in it. And when you pull the Salvo button, it sounds a 700 hertz tone. That's the Salvo signal. Now for cease firing, there's a signal generator in here that also generates 1500 hertz tone. Cease firing is an alternating 700 and 15 hertz tone. Now obviously in the heat of the battle, this would be kind of hard to hear. That's why on modern ships like the New Jersey, they also have a buzzer in there to let the crew know that it's cease firing. Now let's take a look at the 17MC amplifier for the battleship North Carolina.
Since the North Carolina only has one plotting room, there is one rack for the whole ship. The MCA has 4 amplifiers, or channels if you want to call it that. Each director is assigned to an amplifier. It's hard to get a good look at it because it's squished between the 2 switchboards in the secondary plotting room. The first time I saw this thing, I wanted to open it up and grab a Coke. I still think it looks like a refrigerator. What do you guys think it looks like? Let me know in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. You can select which director talks to each mount from the switchboard. It really helps out that North Carolina has high-power reproducers for the loud 5-inch guns. The North Carolina also has computer jack boxes to listen to the 17MC. Most computer operators will be wearing a JP headsets with breastplates, but the ones assigned to the 17MC will be wearing headsets. Since directors and computers are interchangeable, how do the computer operators select which director amplifier to listen to? On the top of the MCA rack is a control panel that has amplifier selectors for every computer station. It also contains the controls for testing the amplifiers and signal generators. For example, to test one of the 4 signal generators, you would move the volume indicator selector to the signal generator's position and push the corresponding cease fire or salvo buttons. As long as the VI meter is in the normal range, you know the signal generator and amplifier are working correctly. And since this is installed on the USS North Carolina, it is also the exact same system installed on the battleship Alabama. Unlike the turret announcing systems, the anti-aircraft announcing system was designed for small places where people can easily talk to each other. Therefore, there is no talking back on the 17MC. Crews were told that the 17MC means action, working together as a team to make the battleship's secondary battery the most powerful anti-aircraft weapon of World War II. In lieu of donations to me, please consider donating to a battleship museum like the Battleship North Carolina. There's a link in the description that'll bring you to the Friends of the Battleship North Carolina website where you can donate to the nonprofit organization. Thanks for watching.